Of course, the Aggie offense. So, like I said, I set out on a journey to watch every snap that Connor Weigman took as a Texas A&M Aggie. And in doing so, I can bring you some notes about Connor, things we already know, but I confirmed by watching film. You guys should do this too. It's the offseason. If you want to watch football, go watch Connor. But I also discovered a lot of things, or realized a lot of things about the offense that are pretty exciting going into next year. So, first about Connor, and just confirming things that we know. This kid excels at feeling pressure. This is probably his best attribute as a college quarterback right now. In the pocket, he is able to navigate and anticipate pressure before it's on top of him. And if it does get on top of him, he's ready for it and he can get the ball out accurately while there's someone on top of him. It happened time and time again because he had a pretty bad offensive line, eventually resulting in his injury. But his footwork is amazing. His accuracy under pressure is really good, but it all kind of stems from his footwork. So it just increases the urgency that Connor needs to be 100% by the start of the season. The fact that he was healthy in spring bodes well for those chances. He's an underrated improviser with his legs. He's likely not going to warrant a spy. He's likely not going to have that guy that just watches the quarterback at the line of scrimmage, hovers over him, mirrors him. I don't think he gets that. I don't think he's that kind of scrambler. But in anticipating pressure, reading a defense, he knows how and when to scramble. And very often, he was a clutch scrambler on third and medium to long plays. So, again, in order to do this, you got to be healthy with that foot. This is a foot injury. It affects every other step, I guess, technically every other step. Health. His best attributes is pocket presence, but he needs good footwork for that. His accuracy is probably his next best step. His accuracy under pressure. Oh, and his anticipation on balls. He's throwing that kind of ball that you throw before the receiver is open. It's just a high-level ball from such a young guy. Dating back to his freshman year when he started, the end of 2022, yeah, he throws guys open. Under pressure, he has those attributes that make a quarterback very special. Mechanics are great. There are a couple of flaws, maybe one main flaw that I've noticed from him. And this actually happened in the spring game too. For whatever reason, and I don't know if this is a Jimbo coaching thing, because Kellen Mond had this problem too. For whatever reason, he gets the ball there, but he is not super accurate with screens and bubble plays. He doesn't throw the ball to the guys in their path. Guys typically have to slow down or turn around to catch his bubble ball, and we saw that as recently as in the spring game. So maybe it's a Jimbo thing. Maybe they weren't coached right over the last few years, and that's kind of ingrained in him right now. Colin Klein and company have to work that out of him. That's something we need to see fixed up because you do have some weapons with the ball in their hand in this offense. You're going to want to get Ruben Owens that ball moving forward on his track on these kinds of plays. You're going to want to get Moose Muhammad the ball where he can make a move instead of have to regroup and regather, giving the defender time. You have to angle these players right behind the blockers as well, which we saw in the spring game. I think it was to Amari Daniels. He kind of threw the ball behind him, and the blocker, which I think was Cyrus Allen, didn't have an opportunity to get in front of the guy because the guy was out of angle, and the guy was just able to run past Cyrus Allen on the block. So that's one thing he needs to work on. Obviously, the other thing, he just needs to keep maturing. He needs to gain some strength. He needs to be able to slide a little bit better. A couple times he didn't slide. I don't blame that for the injury, obviously. The injury was kind of like a blindside situation right to the ankle. I don't think that's related, but he does need to learn to slide. He needs to bulk up, keep maturing, which is just going to happen. You know this kid's been hitting the weight room. He's had no choice but to do so in recovering from the injury. So guys, just some highlights on Connor. It really adds to the urgency of getting healthy. Fix that little bubble screen up a little bit. You'll be fine. But he needs to get that confidence back, man. In watching Connor, like I said, I was able to observe the rest of the offense. I realized that our skill guys have been playing since 2022. Moose, before that. Noah, he played a lot in the second half of 2022. Donovan Green, we're hoping he comes back healthy. He played all of 2022. He has a full season under his belt. He comes back healthy. That's an SEC veteran. You get a full season under your belt, you're an SEC veteran. Le'Veon Moss, spelled A-Chain a lot in 2022. Returned kicks in 2022. We saw peaks of him 2 seasons ago. Amari Daniels was the backup running back in 2022. So the conclusion that I kind of came to is we're fielding a veteran offense in 2024. Even the offensive line. I mean, you look at Dewberry, you look at Zune. Sorry. These guys all played in 2022, 2 seasons ago, and then they played all last year. Veterans. Last year, Basantis and Naboo played the entire season. Naboo played a little bit in 2022, and he was here the whole year learning and growing. Fothery, obviously, been here a while. Crownover, been here a while. Now, Fothery is an enigma, right? Like, we don't really know what happened, but we do know that he has a ton of experience under his belt, and we saw him at his best in 2021. So more guys that are veterans. You have veterans at the O-line. You have veterans at running back. You have veterans at wide receiver. Now, of course, with certain players leaving the program, you have to rely on them a little bit more. I mean, Evan Stewart's gone. There's a ripple effect in the wide receiver room. Running backs, same as last year. Not really a ripple effect there. Just go out and get better. Offensive line, you lose Foster. But aside from that, same group. So I didn't really put 2 and 2 together about these guys having been here through SEC play for quite a while. I can't think of an inexperienced player that A&M will be fielding week 1 on offense. Really. So I know when we look at the team going into Notre Dame, we look at, okay, this is it right now, top 10 defense, week 1. You have to go do it. You have to go get it right away. But you're not doing this with rookies. You're doing it with a new coaching staff. Yes. And you're doing it with a quarterback that you hope is healthy and a tight end that you hope is healthy. Based on the timeline, they should be. But I can confidently say A&M will field a veteran offense in 2024. When I hear people talk about A&M, what they say is, oh, Elko's going to have a great defense. They really short up that secondary, and they're really good up front. Okay, yeah, that's there. But what if this offense doesn't really skip a beat? That's on the table, guys. I don't want to pump sunshine. I told you. I warned. Was it when I got cut off, maybe? I warned you this would be a hopium stream tonight. Because sometimes we have to be real about things, and I try to give you the straight shot. I try to tell you, okay, this is a hole. Look out for this. Experience is not a hole this year, guys. Experience is absolutely not a hole. We could be looking at a much, much improved offense from week 1 next year. I know they're going to have to learn the playbook, and the coaches are going to have to learn personnel. Another thing I also noticed, and this is a very specific thing that I noticed, Amari Daniels was pretty damn good. Dating back to 2022, I know he had a couple of fumbles that linger really strong in our minds. I think the one versus Miami and then the one in the bowl game. He thrives off of good blocking. When he gets into open space, he's a downhill runner. But he needs good blocking. He's not great at that contact at the line of scrimmage. That's not his strength. That's more of a Le'Veon Moss thing. He'll push people forward, big people forward. If Daniels gets good blocking, he's pretty damn good. I'm looking at the LSU game, 2022. A-Chain got spelled in the third quarter. Daniels didn't skip a beat. That was the one game that year the O-line played well. Daniels was running all over the place, and we've seen it at times in spurts late in games when he gets spelled in. Daniels is an adequate running back. So I'm thinking of this running back room as a 1-2 combo. Moss is the bell cow. Owens is the change of pace. I think you have 3 or 4 changes of pace depending on what E.J. Smith is. So I just wanted to highlight Amari. Don't forget about him. He's had some really good moments in an Aggie uniform. I was kind of surprised when I saw him play again. Another thing that was huge in 2022, I already mentioned it, touched on it. Donovan Green was a really important player as a safety valve, just like Weidemeyer was before him, from the same high school at that. I don't know if I'd feel good going into the season without him. Colin Klein likes to use, every offense today needs a tight end, a good tight end, a safety valve. He was really good at the tight end screen too, slipping out, getting open, very athletic, able to run an open field, really good in the red zone. It's a piece that we're going to need to reach our ceiling, I think. Now, there's been a lot of hype about Trey Watson, I think his name is Trey Watson, right? Guys, help me out here. The transfer out of Fresno State. A lot of hype from Trey Watson coming out of spring camp. He's also not healthy. Maybe we can get by with him. I don't know. I don't know if the Swede, Theo Mellon-Orstrom, and Jaden Platt are ready to be that guy this year. I think they both need one more year. I think they can both play. But I think if you're going to reach your goals, you need Donovan Green or hit the upside of that Trey Watson kid. But really, it's Donovan Green. He was so important, dude. So many safety valve catches. Nothing else is there. Throw it up to the tight end. He was forming chemistry with Connor, too. Those are my main notes, guys. Those are my main notes. I just feel like this offense is being slept on a little bit. And of course, there's the learning curve. We got to get over that. But if you do, if you're able to at least play clean, no pre-snap penalties, get in and out of plays, don't fall if you're an offensive lineman, don't just bust. Just stick to your assignments. If you're not technically perfect, if you're not the strongest, just stick to your assignments. Don't do the wrong thing. We saw that too many times under Adazio. Linemen just wrong assignment or falling backwards. Fix that.